The observation deck of the Coalition starship Harmony offered a view of the Andromeda, galaxy that few beings in the universe had the privilege to witness. Lieutenant Marcus Webb stood at the reinforced viewport, his reflection ghosting over the swirling cosmic vista beyond. But his eyes weren't focused on the stars. They drifted, as they always did during the night cycle, to the figure seated at the navigation console, 30 meters away. Her name was Lyra, and she belonged to the Villian species, a race of beings whose homeworld orbited a binary star system in the outer rim. Her skin held an iridescent quality that shifted between deep violet and soft blue, depending on the light. 4 arms moved with practiced efficiency across her workstation, each limb independently coordinating tasks that would overwhelm most species. Her elongated face featured large, dark eyes that could perceive wavelengths of light invisible to human vision. A crest of crystalline structures rose from her head, catching the ambient light of the ship and refracting it into subtle rainbows. Marcus had served alongside Lyra for 2 standard years. In that time, he had watched her solve navigation puzzles that stumped the ship's quantum computers. He had seen her mediate disputes between crew members of a dozen different species with a patience and wisdom that seemed ageless. He had heard her laugh at human jokes she didn't fully understand, simply because she enjoyed the camaraderie. And somewhere between the emergency repairs during the ion storm over, Kepler 442b, and the quiet conversations during the long drift through the void of Cassiopeia, Marcus had fallen completely in love with her. "You are doing it again, human," Lyra's voice carried across the observation deck, melodic and slightly resonant in a way that human vocal cords could never replicate. She hadn't turned from her console, but her head tilted in that distinctly Velian manner that indicated awareness. Marcus felt heat rise to his face. Doing what? Gazing, observing, staring. One of her hands continued working, while another gestured vaguely in his direction. "Your eyes linger upon me during the night cycles. This is not the first occurrence. It happens with regularity." He forced himself to look back at the stars, gripping the railing before him. "Sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." Uncomfortable is an inaccurate assessment. Finally, Lyra swiveled in her seat, all 4 eyes of her species focusing on him with that unnerving intensity that could catalog 1,000 details and moments. "I simply do not understand the purpose. Among my people, sustained observation indicates either a challenge of dominance or a study of potential threat. You have never exhibited hostility toward me. Therefore, your behavior creates confusion." Marcus laughed, though it came out more bitter than he intended. "It's neither of those things. Then what purpose does it serve?" How could he explain human emotion to a being whose species processed affection through completely different social frameworks? The Velians bonded through synchronized bioluminescence and harmonic resonance. Their concept of partnership involved a literal physical attunement that humans simply couldn't achieve. He had researched extensively, hoping to find some bridge between their species, some way to express what he felt that wouldn't be lost in translation. He had found nothing encouraging. "It's a human thing," he said quietly. "We look at things we find beautiful, things that matter to us." Lyra rose from her station, moving across the deck with the fluid grace her people possessed. She stood beside him at the viewport, several centimeters taller, her crystalline crest catching the starlight. "You classify me as beautiful?" "Yes. This is factual or subjective assessment?" "Subjective, but very strongly felt." She fell silent for a long moment, and Marcus wondered if he had finally crossed a line that would make their working relationship impossible. The Coalition military prided itself on interspecies cooperation, but it couldn't legislate away the fundamental differences in how various races experience the universe. "I do not comprehend beauty in the manner your species does," Lyra said eventually. My people recognize aesthetic patterns and optimal design, but the emotional component you describe is foreign to our neurology. When you state that I am beautiful, I can only process this as abstract data, not experiential truth. I know. Marcus kept his eyes on the stars, unwilling to see whatever expression Velians made when they pitied someone. That's why I never said anything before. Yet you persist in the gazing. I can't help it. The words came out more raw than he intended. Do you know what humans call it when you can't stop thinking about someone? When their presence makes everything better, and their absence makes everything worse. When you would cross a galaxy just to see them smile. These symptoms suggest a neurological fixation that might require medical evaluation. Despite everything, Marcus laughed. We call it love, Lyra, and no, there's no medical cure. Believe me, I've wished there was. Another long silence stretched between them. A small patrol craft drifted past the viewport, its running lights blinking in sequence. Somewhere in the ship's lower decks, the night crew would be conducting routine maintenance. Life continued, indifferent to the quiet breaking of a human heart. You experienced this love for me specifically? Yes. And the gazing is an expression of this phenomenon? Part of it, yes. We look at the people we love. We want to memorize every detail, store every moment. It's not logical. It's not practical. It just is. Lyra's crest shifted through several color patterns, a sign Marcus had learned indicated deep processing. I have observed human cultural materials during my off-cycles. Your species creates extensive artistic works exploring this love concept. Poetry, music, visual narratives. The volume of content suggests this experience holds significant importance to your civilization. It does. For better or worse, it defines a lot of who we are. Then I must inform you that my inability to reciprocate in equivalent manner causes me distress. Marcus finally turned to look at her, surprised. Distress? You are my colleague. Over our shared service time, I have come to value your presence highly. You possess problem-solving capabilities that complement my own. You demonstrate humor that, while often incomprehensible, creates pleasant atmospheric conditions. When you are assigned to other shifts or away missions, I find myself monitoring communication channels with increased frequency, seeking confirmation of your safety and well-being. Something in Marcus's chest tightened. Lyra, these behaviors do not align with standard Velian social patterns. I have consulted medical databases. I do not have illness. Yet the symptoms persist. Her large eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made it hard to breathe. When you gaze at me, I have noticed my crest displays colors outside my conscious control. My lower left hand engages in unnecessary fidgeting behavior. My cardiac rhythm elevates by 7%. What are you saying? I am saying that while I cannot experience your human love, I appear to be experiencing something my people have no formal classification for. An anomaly. A deviation from expected social parameters that occurs specifically and exclusively in your presence. Marcus felt hope bloom in his chest, fragile and terrifying. Is that good or bad? Unknown. The Velian Council of Sciences would likely classify it as a curiosity worthy of study. She tilted her head in a distinctly alien way. However, I find I do not wish to report it for study. I wish to continue experiencing it. I wish to understand why your gaze creates warmth in my thermal regulation system. I wish to comprehend why your absence creates a void in my daily routine. That sounds like love, Marcus said softly. Or at least something close to it. Then perhaps our species are not as incompatible as biological data suggests. One of Lyra's hands reached out, hesitating in the space between them. Perhaps new classifications must be created. Perhaps what exists between us is neither human love nor Velian bonding, but something unprecedented. Marcus extended his own hand, letting it hover near hers. Would that be acceptable to you? Something unprecedented? I believe I would like to explore this possibility. Her crystalline crest shifted to a warm amber color. Though you must explain human courtship protocols. I do not wish to commit social errors. We're making our own protocols, Marcus said, finally allowing his hand to gently touch hers. Her skin felt cool and slightly textured, entirely alien and entirely perfect. No one's ever done this before. We'll figure it out together. A logical approach. The amber in her crest deepened. Though you must cease the apologizing for gazing. If this activity expresses your anomalous emotional state, and if I am experiencing corresponding anomalies, then the gazing is acceptable. Perhaps encouraged, I can do that. You may also teach me what humans find amusing about your jokes. I wish to understand the genuine humor rather than simply appreciating your enjoyment. Marcus smiled, feeling lighter than he had in months. That might take a while. We have time. The mission to Andromeda will require 3 standard years. 3 years of explaining human humor. You might regret this. Lyra's crest flashed through several colors in rapid succession, a pattern Marcus had never seen before. I do not believe regret will be a factor. My predictive algorithms suggest a 93% probability of optimal outcomes. What about the other 7%? Acceptable margin of error. She moved closer, her presence filling his awareness entirely. Now explain to me this gazing behavior in greater detail. I wish to understand all aspects of human love, as you call it, so that I may properly respond to your continued attention. Outside the viewport, Andromeda stretched across the void, 2.5 million light-years of spinning stars and cosmic mystery. Inside the observation deck, 2 beings from incompatible species stood together, hands touching, creating something the universe had never seen before. And Marcus gazed at her without apology, storing every detail, memorizing every moment. While Lyra's crest glowed colors that no Velian had ever displayed, both of them writing new definitions for words that didn't exist yet in any language.